we're still staying with issues related to limited voter registration exercise. Because we know that in the Ashanti region, the regional chairman of the MPP, Bernard Nchibuesiako, has today been granted a 20,000 CD bail after 24 hours behind bars when he was charged with assault. The Asokwa District Court judge took the decision to grant the man popularly known as Chairman Wontumi bail in a packed courtroom amidst chants from anxious supporters who had surrounded the building. The regional chairman allegedly slapped the Ministerial North Member of Parliament, Collins Owusu-Amankwa, and the constituency secretary, Felix Ibrahim, at a polling center in the constituency during the limited voter registration exercise. Let's now bring you more on this particular story. Let's speak to Love FM's Erastus Asare-Donko. He's been following the story from yesterday when Chairman Wontumi turned himself in at the police station up until this minute when he has been granted bail. Erastus, good afternoon to you. I know it's been a very dramatic day in court for Chairman Wontumi, but for the benefit of those who have not heard of this story, walk us through how things unfolded today in court.
Well, it was a packed court today, and judging from the vigil that numerous supporters of the NPP in the region kept at the Central Police Headquarters, running from yesterday 4 p.m. right down to this morning. There are people who have slept at the place, trying to keep in solidarity with their detained regional chairman. Now, at 10 a.m. this morning, he was released. He was released from the cell, and then under tight security, he came out shouting to his fans and acknowledging cheers from the number of people who had gathered there before he went inside a 4x4 pickup vehicle, and he was transported to the Asokwa District Magistrate Court. At the court, we had hundreds of people who also besieged the place, blocking the entire street in front of the court. And the court building, they had to shut the gate tight and hold the session with a few people who had gathered in there. But the court was so packed with no electricity and was very hot in there. So the prosecutor narrated the facts as it happened at the Krofrom polling station, where he indicated that Chairman Wontumi slapped Felix Ibrahim several times, pushed him down and stepped on him, and even before he came to slap the MP for Mensiano, Collins Owusu-Amankwa, and then further, he was restrained by police officers there because he wanted to do further damage to the gentleman. Then, after giving the fact, then he notified the judge in question that prior to coming to the court, he has received a letter from the complainant indicating that they wish to settle the case out of court. And so the court should grant the accused bail and give them time to settle the matter amicably. In fact, all the defense lawyers and the other lawyers who spoke corroborated that. They said they've also received the same letters. They were also asking the judge to do same, since the case is a family affair, as they described it. So lawyer Egbert Pabel also asked same from the judge. And so the judge in ruling said that, okay, fine. So you go, I've given you up to the 1st of June, come back, and after brief me on what you've done so far in terms of settlement. And so they came out of the court. Chairman Wontumi was held high and virtually ran through the principal streets of Adum like you herald a king on the streets of his abode. That's what they did to him afterwards, throwing in powder and other things and shouting Chairman one, and all that.
Okay, now we know that for this case in court, a lot of bigwigs of the party were actually present. Tell us some of the people who came there, and if they spoke to you, what did they tell you?
We had Dr. Amwaku Tufo, himself a lawyer. We had Kofi Juma, former mayor of Kumasi, and former member of parliament for Asokwa. We also had the acting chairman of the NPP himself, Freddie Blay, also in court. We had other executives, regional executives of the NPP as well, coming to court to keep in solidarity with him. Madame Hildado was also there as well. And the chairman, the acting chairman, spoke to us, and what he was saying virtually was that he's sorry that the case has degenerated. The mention of food has degenerated into this level to the arrest of the regional chairman, and within the time frame given by the court, they are going to ensure that they settle this amicably and put it behind them. But that will not prevent them from discharging their main duties at the various registration centers to ensure that people who are not qualified do not register.
Okay, Erastus, we'll talk about Chairman Wontumi's demeanor today in court and also what happened after he left the court premises. But let's first hear from lawyer Egbert Fable. You spoke to him earlier today after today's proceedings.
The matter be settled out of court, and all those things went into the court granting or admitting Chairman Wontumi to bail.
Well, we understand that you are returning to court.
Coming here on the 1st of June. Yeah, that's the next date.
Okay, all right. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Listen, I'm not just satisfied, I'm a very happy person.
And the reason?
There is for bail, and our bail application has been granted. It found favor with the court.
Thank you so much.
So that's lawyer Egbert Fable. He represented Bernard Ntwibuisiako, popularly known as Chairman Wontumi, in court today. Erastus, let's talk about Chairman Wontumi. You mentioned already that after today's proceedings, he was walking along the streets of Edum being heralded like a king. But before the court granted him bail, what was his demeanor after spending a night in the police cells?
He was unperturbed. He was indifferent. He was charged. He was happy. He came out instead of going directly into the police vehicle to be taken to the court, to the surprise and the chagrin of the police officers who were gathered there, because they were trying to call him back to sit in the vehicle. But then he went around the vehicle, took cheers from the crowd, stood on the vehicle, waved to the crowd. Even when they thought he was going to get into the car, he came out again, received cheers from the crowd. He looked like a happy man before he got into the car and went straight to the court. In court, occasionally you could see him throwing a wink at some of his compadres in court. And he didn't look like somebody who was sober, somebody who was in a sad mood or anything. He was confident. He was very happy.
Okay, now for the proceedings today, the two gentlemen who complained to the police about this matter, were they present?
No, they weren't, and there were many people who were happy they weren't, because the feedback from the ground was very great. There are people who were charged, and they feel that he has disgraced the party by taking the chairman to court. They feel that he's not a true MPP person, because if he was, he wouldn't have taken the case to court. And they think that an assault is nothing. Some of them were saying, and in their own words, they said that if you have wronged the party and the chairman has disciplined you as a father, why do you take him to court and disgrace the rest of the family and give a tool to the NDC to manipulate us? Those were the words coming from the streets, and indeed, if they had come in there, it wouldn't have been a good sight.
Okay, thank you, Erastus, for those details from today's proceedings in court. Chairman Wontumi has now been granted bail. He will reappear on the 1st of June. Hopefully, by then, the party and all the interested individuals, the complainants, will have come to an agreement on this issue before they meet the judge in question. Let's hear from the acting national chairman of the MPP, Freddie Blade, today after proceedings. All right, we'll bring you that a bit later here on the show, but we know that some of the supporters have also been expressing their views about what happened in court today.
The Tiani say nipa no mutini tumuno. Hi, ya penny back ni dance no mutini tumuno. What you be kasa ye dinner chine no mutini tumo sheda. And no mudini here the etum. A higher organa ha. Can you be cabinet nyajuma is illegal. It's indirect. Your more can indirect money to say a soldier money is indirect. And to do more can move here. Or mine is a democracy, but it's not democracy, it's indirect. And no more high. enti do ma ne say na ba bia papa no ko bi edi na chi se be wu ye nso be wu bi nto mu nyina edi akire ba bia mo de ne ko yo be wu nso be wu bi.
Oh, in fact, I don't feel fine. I don't feel fine because he's my chairman and he has been arrested. So I don't feel fine. Yeah.
This is not a game of play. It is a confusion that ensued. And it is within the party remit to be able to resolve it. But unfortunately, we landed at the place. But I can tell you the party has the machinery and the strategy to resolve it.
So those are some supporters today who turned up at the Kumasi High Court, keenly watching as things unfolded before Benedict Chibuesiako, popularly known as Chairman Wontumi, was given granted bail today. You heard his lawyer earlier, Egbert Fable, explaining that this charge against his client was a bailable offense, and indeed he has been given bail. 20,000 cedis he is to give a property a surety, or if they can provide that amount of money in cash, that will ensure that Chairman Wontumi will not spend another night in police custody. This case is one that we'll be following closely and bring you details on as and when we have it here on Joy News. Also, it raises questions about whether or not if a man assaults another, is that enough to say because it's an internal issue, it should not be treated as such? Should it be left always with settlement before the matter is resolved? That's something we will interrogate in the course of this program. Right then, so that's for what's happening in the Ashanti region as regards the NPP regional chairman, Chairman Wontumi. But we know that today also civil society groups have been meeting the hierarchy of the Greater Accra Police Command over how they can handle violence, even with this limited voter registration that we are seeing today. My colleague Raymond Akra has been covering that event and joins me now in the studio. Raymond, first tell us what the import or rationale of this program was in the first place.
So this is the police, the Ghana police, especially the regional command. They have a plan in place to make sure that they meet what they call stakeholders ahead of the November elections. Dialogue with them on how best to ensure that elections are peaceful, credible, and the best that we expect it to be, especially the role of these stakeholders, political parties, civil society groupings, and everybody who will play a role in that particular election. So the first time they met these civil society groupings was some months ago. This is the third time. And this was to follow up on some discussions they had in previous times about how to secure the place, how to share information, and how to engage better so that the entire process will be peaceful. So that's what brought them together.
Okay, so for today's discussions, what was their worry? Was it about the limited voter registration?
So that was the crux of today's meeting. How do we ensure that people are educated well enough to know their roles so that they do not go fomenting troubles on the grounds there? So that's what they sought to meet and discuss. Much of what the main discussion was about is that we've heard some pockets of violence happening across the country. Here in the Greater Accra region, mindful of the fact that the region's commander is the one who went to meet the civil society, they were happy to say that the nature of the registration has been quite peaceful. There's not been any major incidents that should give them some worry. So far as they consider the Greater Accra region, they are in safe hands. But they also expressed concerns about the possibility that the small tension that's created around registration centers may degenerate into some trouble spots. The regional command that asked the what they call civil society groupings to step up education, let the people get to know the real thoughts behind this particular activity. Let them get to know that it's not to fight to put your name on the register. Indeed, if you're a Ghanaian, you have every single right to put your name there. If you want to challenge somebody to, there's a procedure you must follow. Physically restraining people is not what they want done, and that people should get to know more, especially since these civil society organizations are in the forefront of education. They should be in the position to drum home the message more. Okay, and for the civil society groups, you spoke to Major General Nika Coleman. What was his concern there? Major General Nika Coleman was of the opinion that they needed really the law to work. For the police to be seen as impartial, effective, and very efficient on the job, they should let everybody know that regardless of who ox is gold, they will prosecute you if you fail to do the right thing. So he charged the police to be forthright with exactly how they are implementing the laws. Do not be selective. Do not bow to the pressure from the political parties, and make sure you let go people who are supposed to be prosecuted. In fact, he made slight reference to what was even happening in Kumasi, that the police cannot let the issue just go because it's a political issue. That is what, to him, creates the culture of impunity, which politicians exploit, and at the end of the day, fomenting all the trouble they see around the country.
Interesting. And what was the police's response to that particular matter?
They have said that, I mean, for the regional commander, he could respond for the region. It says they have been very clear in their minds that police is of the state, not government. So as a state institution, they will do all that they can to ensure that there is peace wherever there is registration required, and there is the need to put in the right measures so that nobody at any point in time can complain about their professionalism. He asked the civil society groupings to attest to how they have dealt with cases all over the month since he became the commander of the region.
All right. Thank you, Raymond Akwa, for those details of today's program. The Safe Foreign Initiative has been very, very vocal in the past few days, talking about how violence that has characterized our electoral processes has become a main issue as we look ahead to the 2016 general elections. This is something that we will be closely monitoring to see what these organizations do beyond the talk into action that will ensure that we don't see these pockets of violence escalate into something else as we head into the 2016 presidential and parliamentary elections. Let me take you quickly back to Kumasi and hear from the acting national chairman of the MPP, Freddie Blay, after today's proceedings, still in relation of that matter to do with the Ashanti Regional MPP chairman, Bernard Ntwibu-Esiako.
Why? Because people are happy. They are very joyous, like joy.
What happened within your party?
What has happened within our party?
Your regional chairman was detained. I mean,
yes, police arrested him, and the police have given him bail on some charge. So it's been adjourned. 1st June, he will come and meet his accuser.
This should have been settled within the party.
It's not a question of settled within the party. He was at home, he was invited by the police. He had no choice. They arrested him, detained him, and brought him to court. He had no opportunity to even settle any matter.
But some are saying what he did was not right.
What did he do?
He attacked your MP.
It was alleged that he attacked someone. That's all. The circumstance, the whole story surrounding it, we don't know. I won't jump into any conclusion about it.
Wouldn't it affect your party?
How will it affect it? On the contrary, people are resolved. They are determined. You can see the evidence. They are determined to remain focused, campaign, register, vote, change.
The way forward for the party.
The way forward is change. For our party, we are pushing it. Change is the battle is the Lord's.
All right. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
That's Freddie Blay, the acting national chairman of the MPP, speaking to us after today's proceedings when Chairman Wontumi appeared at the Kumasi High Court. At this point, we'll go for a break. When we come back, we'll talk about this worrisome statistics we're seeing for the first quarter of 2016, where over 500 people have died in just the first 4 months of the year to road accidents. We have details on that story and more after this break. Stay with us.